Hi guys, it's Miss Rodriguez, and today we are going to be talking about the clock again. Last week we talked about telling time to the hour. So this actually is a perfect example of telling time to the hour. My short hand is pointing to the hour, and my long hand is pointing to the 12. So that makes this 4 o'clock. So if you remember last time, we talked about ways to remember the hour hand and the minute hand. The hour hand goes first. It's a nice short word. So the hour hand is short. The minute hand is a little bit longer. And that means that the arrow is also a little bit longer, or my hand. So hour and minutes. Now, one thing that we have talked about sometimes at school when we're singing songs, or even last week in our video, is that when we're telling time to the hour, our minute hand, if you look on this clock really carefully, there's all these little lines, and each one is 1 minute. So if I were to keep going, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So when you are counting your minutes, you're not really using these numbers the same way. These numbers will actually end up counting by 5s. On the clock, when it goes all the way around, it should be 60 minutes. So if I start counting, it starts here at 12, but I count from there. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60. So there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. Now, the other thing I want you to think about is our fractions. When we were talking about fractions a few weeks ago, we were dividing things into fourths or halves. Today we're going to talk about half. So if I have a circle and I divide it in half, it looks kind of like this. Now, if you are dividing your clock in half and the minutes, we would do that to 30 because there's 60 and 30 is half of 60. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. If your minute hand is pointing to the 6, it's 30. So I'm going to move my clock from 4 to 4:30. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. One thing I want you to notice about the clock, my minute hand is moving, but my hour hand is also moving. It moves a little bit slower, but it is moving. And this makes sense because you wouldn't want the hour hand to jump really quickly from here to here. So it goes real slowly. As it gets closer to a new hour, it gets closer to the next number. So that can kind of be tricky when you're telling time. So I'm going to go back to that 4 o'clock hour right here. So here's my 4 o'clock. And I'm going to move my hand till I get to half of it, which would be 4:30. So remember, when we write 4:30, that is going to look like this, 4:30. So right now we know for sure it's at 4 o'clock. I can see my short hand's pointing exactly at the 4. My long hand is pointing at the 12. So I'm going to move it, my minute hand, and it's come here. So that's 5. So that makes it 4:05. And here is 10. So 4:10. 15. So that's 4:15. 20. So it's 4:20. 25, so it's 4:25, and then 4:30. When the minute hand is pointing straight to the 6, the long minute hand, that's 30. Now this is where it gets confusing, my friends. If you look at the hour hand, it's between the 4 and between the 5. But here's what you've got to remember. When it was over here, it was at 4. Has it gotten to the 5 yet? It has not. So it's not 5:30, it's still 4:30. It's 4 all the way till it gets to here. So right now it's 4:30. Let's try a different one. Okay, so I start with my hour hand. I see my shorthand is pointed here. Now again, my friends, we know that our clock is going this way. So I know that my shorthand has gotten to the 9. It has not gotten to the 10 yet. So this is still 9. And then looking at my minute hand, if I count that by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, it's 9:30. So I would write that like this, 9:30. Okay, let me try a different one. And this one kind of confuses people too. And this is only because people are sometimes not looking at which hand there is. So remember, we start with the shorthand, and I can see this is the shorthand right up here. Knowing that my clock goes like this, it got to the 12. Has it gotten to the 1 yet? It has not. So it's still 12. And then my minute hand pointing to the 6 makes it 12:30. That's a tricky one. I'll show you another tricky one that sometimes people get confused with also, and you'll see why. Look how close these hands are. Sometimes people see this and they're not sure which one they're looking at, but we know that we're looking for the shorthand first for the hour. So looking at my shorthand, sorry guys, I had a little cough. Shorthand, it was already at the 6, has not gotten to the 7 yet. It's not touching the 7. So it's still 6. But my minute hand is pointing to the 6 exactly. And we know when we count by 5s, it gets to 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So this one is 6:30. So today you're really going to be looking carefully at the clocks on your assignment and trying to figure out what time is shown on the clock. Again, my friends, this can be tricky if you're not paying special attention to the hour hand. Like we said, this time right here is 6:30 because it hasn't gone to the 7. If you were to put 7:30 on here, because it's close to the 7, that would be counted wrong. So you really have to use your special first grade glasses to look at this and be very careful, be paying very close attention and making sure that you are looking to see where the hour hand is. If it has already gotten to that number, that counts. If it hasn't gotten to the next one, it doesn't. Let's do one more before we stop. Let's do, here we go. All right. Shorthand is right here between the 2 and 3. So think about that for a second. It's going this way. Is it 2 or 3? If you guessed 2, you were correct. It's already gotten to the 2, hasn't made it to the 3 yet. With our minute hand pointing to the 6, that's 30 because you count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So that makes this 2:30. If you were to put 2, 6, that would be counted wrong. So you've got to make sure with the minute hand, you're paying close attention to that. Remember, the minute hands are counting by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. So my friends, today you will be looking at clocks and you will be matching them so that you can read the clock and write the time, and then I'll write a time for you and you will match a clock that fits that time. So guys, I know you guys are going to work really hard on this assignment. It can sometimes be tricky, but I think if anybody can do it, it's my firsties. So good luck, my friends, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.